we should have audio, yes. Because fuck OBS and its constant attempts to make me look bad. There we go. Sorry about it, everyone. Here we are. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of Up in Smoke, our Shadowrun live play game, using the Shadowrun 6th edition rules, and set in London 2081 at this point. And before we go anywhere, we do anything else, two things. Want to send a quick shout out to Kat, aka at Cleric of Cord, our usual street shaman, who's feeling a bit under the weather, and we wish her the best and swift recovery. And now, before we continue with things, we'll just go around the room, and everyone can tell you who they are and who they are playing. And Dan.
I remembered to unmute myself. So we're starting off strong today. Hi, I'm Dan. I play Sphere, who is a rigger who goes by they, them pronouns and is currently extremely hurt and recovering from a series of absolutely fucking terrible injuries. I was going to say terrifying and then terrible and end up with a weird combination of the two. So honestly, it tracks. I don't really have much more to say than that. I'm just very concerned for my poor little rigger, who's just in the most absolutely god-awful position right now and is going to have to figure out a lot of things, including, was I working with clones back then?
Who knows? Who knows? There is no one else, so go.
So I'm Kim. I play the group's technomancer, who's probably the more sensible one out of the team. Let's just say that.
That's a very biased opinion there.
Yeah. I'm Grifter, and I play the team's resident gun-toting badass, I want to say.
Who makes bad decisions.
Excellent decisions. Excellent decisions, God damn it.
Okay. Give me just a second to adjust something. There we go. Where to begin? Previously in Up in Smoke, the group got contacted by the assistant and nurse to their benefactor, Lawrence, who wants their help in figuring out why their benefactor Malcolm is essentially letting himself die, not accepting any treatments or any way of maintaining his rapidly deteriorating health. As part of this, they require intel on Malcolm's life and his past that they have no other means of acquiring. So Lawrence got in touch with a familiar figure, a information broker known as Jackal, who offered this information in exchange for a job. The task being to infiltrate a building with a multitude of companies, but all are fronts for As Technology, who has the company has a secret laboratory somewhere in the building or underneath the building. As the blueprints show, the building goes the same number of floors up and down. As part of this, they all decided to do a bit of legwork and investigate, while after discovering that some people from Sphere's past seemingly worked in that building. Sphere decided to investigate one of them on their own, was discovered, and after a swift but exciting car chase, both Sphere and the car they were in got flung into a building, resulting in Sphere being severely hurt. Not to mention the assailant pursued them into the wreckage and shot them at point-blank range.
It was like a car chase from a Bond movie, except I was one of the bad people who got shoved off screen in 5 seconds.
Yeah, the only thing missing was a Wilhelm scream.
Sorry, I wish I could do that on command.
I wish any of us could do it on command. Afterward, Sphere has been in recovery for the past day, actually. In fact, I think we'll begin our session a few days later. And for unless everyone wishes to play immediately after we left things off.
No, maybe a couple of days.
Let's say we pick up 3 days later. So, Sphere, I need you to roll your body for me 3 times.
Yep.
And tell me the number of hits.
3 times.
While I continue with our little catch-up. As KTB wanted to take things slowly and wait for Sphere to recover, but the other members of the group convinced her that they might as well continue the infiltration as they don't have that much time to go. And so they got themselves jobs as janitorial staff and proceeded to map out the place, discovering some details about the building and how it works, including that the security is quite top-notch. And Grifter decided to bring a gun into the building, hidden in his arm's compartment, and was swiftly discovered. But a good lie from Nico managed to save things from going all too horribly wrong. And afterwards, he also decided, knowing that one person from his past was in this building, to slip a note under her door, which prompted the necessity of another spectacular lie from Nico to get the job done. After that, they retreated with the information they had and to plan further steps. I will tell you that in the past few days, Nico has been busy preparing and learning spells and preparing materials for this job. So she will not be available for the duration of this session to account for our dear player being away. Sphere, how many hits did you roll in total? You have healed 5 levels of physical damage from your track.
It was ridiculously lucky. I've only got 3 dice for rolling body, and I got 2/3 essentially.
Yep, you are still heavily bruised, cut up, and well, hurt.
Mm.
And we'll start with you. And someone please take care of the bot. Thank you. It's been a while since we've had a chat bot.
There've been fewer of those. Anyway, freaking bots.
It's been the last thing you remember is being taken out of that car. Of being essentially in Kara's arms as he flew you to safety. Since then, you've been unconscious in a haze of medicine and sleeping off the worst elements of your injury.
Yeah,
as far
I
as you
assume
know.
we have access to like morphine or something.
You do have access to a certain amount of medicine.
Mm.
Now you wake up. It's been about 3 days, though, as I mentioned, you are not aware of the passage of this time.
Mm.
You are very sore.
Yeah.
Your voice is in fact strained. The first thing your body needs is water. As anyone who's ever been in a hospital situation and you wake up from, being asleep for a while, water is usually a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately for you, Karas has been by your side and provides a small glass with a straw for you to drink out of.
Oh, good. Straws are excellent. Less work for the jaw.
Yeah, indeed.
Right.
As I mentioned, you feel pain all over,
Mm.
except your legs.
Mm.
They feel fine. I mean, in the sense that if everything on every part of your body feels like a live wire, where every sensation is heightened to and sensibility is also heightened, where everything is even moving causes a bit sharp intake of breath. Your legs, nothing.
Mm.
You attempt to move, to stand up. Ooh, I need to disable that command.
Oh, right. That's probably an auto run.
Sphere. I think you're frozen. Yep, there we go.
No, I was just sitting very still.
Oh, right.
Power, and that power is not moving.
You are in your room, in bed, with Karis by your side. Outside, I imagine there's maybe some hushed conversations and the usual hustle and bustle of planning being done by the other members of your group.
Mm. I mean, you said with the legs that there's essentially nothing, so...
No pain whatsoever. No sensation at all.
That's... Sphere's gonna very slowly lean forward. Lean forward and just attempt to poke a leg.
Poke? You poke at best, trying as hard as you can. There is almost a sense of numbness. Just like a phantom pain, but you don't have that tactile feeling, response of touching your leg. Something has gone severely wrong.
Yeah. Ooh. Right, looking down, I imagine the wounds are still...
They are still present. They have been wrapped.
I was going to say, probably dressed and
They are dressed and attended to, because they were kind of nasty.
Yeah, you know, you follow up being trapped in the wreckage of a car by cutting yourself out. Oh, God. Excuse me. Sphere is mentally running through this in the sense of thinking of themselves as like, okay, if you wanted to disable a drone, you would cut the wires. You know, if you had to do it in a physical manner. And Sphere is looking at their own legs and thinking, oh God, how many wires did I cut? Because that's how their brain works.
Make a logic and biotech roll for me.
Oh, God.
If you don't have biotech, just a pure logic roll.
Yeah, I don't have biotech. Oh, I forgot to check one thing with you. I'm pretty sure I remember you mentioning that you can't glitch on a healing roll?
Yeah, you can't.
Oh, thank goodness for that. 'Cause that last one was bad. All right, let's do a logic roll. I wish I had biotech. It's 2 hits.
2 hits. With the damage that you did to your legs with your blades,
Kevin, I think you're muted.
am I muted? I don't think so.
No,
I
no.
couldn't hear after
'cause
the
I-
word blades. I couldn't hear you anymore.
Probably because I turned away from the mic. So I was just reading something real quick.
Okay.
Perfect. You know that with the damage you did to your blades, if you did any damage, likely would be felt, let's call it down the stream. Likely would be your feet that would be having a problem.
Mhm.
Instead of a cardiac tendon or something. The fact that you can't feel all your legs means that you likely have a spinal injury. The nature of which, that is not something you know.
Yeah, this is not my specialty.
Ares is very still, looking at you, kind of waiting, gauging your reaction, though he is following your gaze and what you're doing and is making, is inferring certain things.
Okay. Right, I haven't. I, of course, have been forgetting to send you my updated character sheet, but I do think I think I mentioned to you back in like February that I was getting Sphere to actually start learning sign language, at least enough to do basic communication. So that is for the sake of ease, I assume that it's probably the future version of BSL.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Just because that's what I wrote on the sheet. So, but yeah, in very basic sign language, and very slow, because all movements for Sphere right now have to be careful, and it's that sort of state where everything feels almost floaty, in the sense of almost like someone else is puppeteering. So yes, Sphere has control of their own body, but there's that weird dissociative, the thought for moving a hand happens, and then a few seconds later the hand actually does a thing. And so it's a very slow, very deliberate thing, but just tries to sign sort of legs, how bad, or yeah, how bad are my legs, or how bad were my legs?
He looks at you straight in the eye, looks down at the legs. Make a logic and intuition, an intuition and perception roll.
Okay, that's a bit better. I haven't had to catapult any dice today, so well, I once again have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's 2 hits. You can tell from Kaz's expression that he is considering, he is weighing what to tell you. Just how detailed or how straight to be with you in this regard. And how much to not, in the sense of, let's say, good bedside manner. Or,
Yeah.
you know, He is basically unsure of just how much he should say or how he should say it.
Sphere is gonna wait a few more seconds and then just sign "Be honest."
He signs and he says just a few words in sign language. He signs bad and then says, when Lawrence was treating you, he said he could see bone. So, Sphere, in your attempt to free yourself using the blades, you cut into yourself fairly deeply in terms of your legs.
Mm. Yeah.
Plus any damage that was already there when your legs got pinned in the first place. As I mentioned, they were partially pierced as well.
Yeah. And then there's all the damage from being in the car when it was smashed into the building, from extricating from being jostled around post that, which probably didn't help matters at all.
Not at all.
Now, Sphere's gonna lean back and is gonna ask Karis for a favor, just assigning a request to bring the tablet or so with the largest screen that they've got.
He nods and leaves the room, at which point KTP and Grifter, I'm going to guess that you are in the common area of your base. You see Karis leave Sphere's room and head towards you to pick up one of the large tablets that you have on one of the tables. He is quite stone-faced. And he just signs Sphere woke up, asked me to get a tablet.
I guess say something like, "Oh, I will be in a sec," something like that.
He nods and then goes back. Doesn't say anything about Sphere's state.
So do we know how bad the injury is?
You knew it was bad.
Yeah.
Let me make a roll just to see. I'm just gonna roll a luck thing to see if Lawrence would have told you just how bad things were, or if he would have kept it and on a wait and see. I think Lawrence kept it very quiet, just in the sense that he wasn't fully. He didn't know for certain what the consequences would be beyond, the physical the surface injuries. He just told you that it was bad. He had to dress up a lot. There was a lot of injuries, and it was a wait and see. With that said, Karis returns and hands you the tablet, Sphere.
Okay. Sphere's gonna just sign back a thanks, and then with a grimace, pick up the stylus, call up just a basic design program, or not a basic, one of their design programs, and make another, and just give another quick sign of time to build something new. because Fear is going to start designing, as it seems necessary, a wheelchair for themselves.
Would Sphere's first thought be design a wheelchair, or perhaps contact someone like her, or like their back alley doctor?
The first thought would be design, if only because that will also just give them something to do, something to occupy. But okay, slipping into the metaphor a little bit, would probably reach out after a bit and ask for like suggestions or such, anything to kind of like base the design on so that they're not starting from scratch. But for the moment, it's just going to be a sort of, I'm awake, I feel awful, I seem to have lost my legs, I need something to put my eyes and brain towards that isn't my condition. And then, like, probably in the course of the day, we'll eventually get in touch with Needle, possibly just start searching the
You want to have that
for
conversation
everything.
with Needle? Let me know. In the meantime,
Yeah.
are KGP and Grifter joining Sphere in the room, or leaving them to be?
I would have thought Grifter would go in and check up.
Yeah, we go over there.
Now you're all together in the room. Sphere seems to be incredibly busy designing things on the tablet with a stylus.
So, I mean, obviously, being slightly unaware of the severity of things and not being the most tactful person, Grifter will. How you feeling?
Sphere's going to put down the tablet, on which it's not immediately evident yet what's being done. I assume by the point you've walked in, they've probably just pulled up the program and started like the first line of the sketch. Puts down the tablet to the side and goes, oh, well, I don't. How am I feeling, or what am I feeling? It's the real thing. Because the parts of me that I can feel, I feel like I got run over by 12 trucks.
What do you mean the parts you can feel?
Don't ask me to run a marathon anytime soon. You didn't see this. I might as well just tell you. So when me and our car, I'm only just realizing that I have been involved in 100% of our car-related losses. I will never drive again, I think. When we went through the window and then the wall and into the next wall, I mean, thank fuck there's seatbelts, right? But also, everything got crushed onto me, and I couldn't get out. And well, then I tried to get out, and I couldn't, because the car kind of folded inwards a little bit onto my legs.
Oh yeah, I saw the car.
Yeah, you saw that. So my legs were under that. And I thought, well, as a dashboard, right? It's like 90% plastic. I had my blades. I thought, hey, the fire crews can do it, right?
I think I'm seeing where this is going.
I didn't feel it at the time. I suspect because of adrenaline. Probably at that point, I was already losing feeling because of other things, because there's the sideways for it. My head is trying to calculate everything, but I think the only reason I managed to cut myself free is because at that point I had already damaged the spine to the point where I didn't need an anesthetic anymore.
Right. And are we expecting this to be a temporary situation, or is this going
How
to get
many
better?
spinal injuries are temporary?
Well, we must be able to.
No, I'm actually asking. I have no idea. I'm not
No,
a doctor.
I don't. Most things are fixable, aren't they? I mean.
So at this point, KTP says, I think we're going to need some coffee. So she leaves the room. But rather than going straight to the kitchen, she goes to find Karis.
Karis is basically the moment you two came in, Karis stepped out. And he is in the kitchen just sitting by himself.
Yeah. So while she's making coffee, that she signs to him just what's wrong. That she knows she spent a lot of time with Karis, sort of learning sign language. So she knows that there's something not right.
Karis just signs. It takes him a while to formulate the words, but he basically starting to tells you in what is essentially a sign language ramble of don't worry about me, focus on Sphere. They need more help than I do.
And KTP signs back. But by you telling me what you know, we are helping Sphere.
Oh. He thought he apologized. He said that he thought you were talking if anything was wrong with him. No, what he tells you is that he was there when Lawrence was patching Sphere up, and yeah, the damage on the legs is severe. So he repeats what he told Sphere when we're patching them up. They could see bone, so the cut was nasty. In terms of other things, Lawrence didn't say anything because Sphere was essentially bruised all over. So figuring out, isolating a bruise to say, oh, there's a spinal injury, impossible to tell at the time. So he doesn't say anything. He is just worried that it may not be, something temporary. But that is just more him than anything.
So she signs back saying, do you know where Lawrence is now?
No. As you remember, Lawrence at the bunch of time left because he had to go back to Malcolm.
Okay. So she touches Karis's arm and smiles at him, and then signs, I am worried about you too. And then
he does. He stops for a moment and just signs, and it takes you a moment to see it because he's mostly almost like talking to himself. The sign, it's almost him just signing out a question to no one, and you can tell from his expression because you know him and as you said, you've been with him and seen him, fairly closely. He puts out the question. Partly to you, but also trying to. It's strange because it's a weird habit. He's trying to tell you, but it's also trying not to make you worry. So he's very cautiously signing, and the way he signs is, should I have been faster? Should I've gotten there sooner?
So KTP signs back and says, "You did everything you could," and then she points upwards to the ceiling, as in, like the windows that she had done for Caris, however long ago it was, as in, let's meet up there later, like on the platform around the top by the windows, because that's what they used to do when they used to hang out. Like, she used to be up there with him while he flew. So
he nods and just keeps, looks up over you as you make coffee for everyone else.
okay, so I guess KTP kisses him on the cheek and then gets the coffee and goes back to the room.
Back in the room then.
Back in the room.
The room where it happens. I had to. Basically, when you get back with coffee, Sphere will look up and carefully reach for it. I'm assuming that you have enough to go around.
I mean, your supplies from when Nico raided Harley's stash, you still have some left. You still haven't had to slum it and go back to Soycaf.
That does beg the question of, with Harley sort of back, do we have a line on a coffee supplier? That's a question for later. That's a question for downtime.
That's something for later. That's another thing entirely.
Yes. It's very important, though. So we'll have to get around to it. But Sphere is still kind of trying to, in their own way, without actually having the necessary medical knowledge, just trying to give an analysis, a sort of educated guess towards Grifter as to what might have happened. So, either the sideways shearing force from the initial impact could have severed something. It might have been from moving about afterwards that there was already damage and then it got exacerbated. It was a situation with dozens of different points at which nerve damage could have become severe enough to lose feeling in the legs. It's kind of pointless to theorize as to which it was, because the entire situation was they got flung into a building inside of a car and then shot at point blank with a shotgun and then roughly dragged out and extricated. So none of this was done. None of this was done in a way that medical professionals would recommend.
No.
I'm pretty sure medical professionals don't recommend being slammed into a building anyway.
Depends on the medical professional.
This is true. And we'll just basically conclude it taking the coffee and going, yeah, so I guess I gotta find alternate solutions for the time being. So I was thinking of building something for myself.
So when are we calling the doctor?
The what now?
Doctor?
Right. I hadn't actually come that far yet. I just need to do something, honestly.
Well, it does kind of make sense that we need to get you to see someone.
Yeah, probably. But how are you going to get me there?
I'm sure me and Karis can get you to it. Oh, we haven't got a car.
Karis flew you back here.
Yeah. Please don't fly me again. Like, with all my love to Karis and how grateful I am for the services rendered, I don't want to cause even more damage.
Maybe I could put a call through to will I have Lawrence's number?
Yeah. You also have all your other suite of contacts that you can use to acquire things if you need.
Yeah, I think I'm going to assume that my sort of back alley doctor probably is not going to be the best spinal specialist. I wouldn't have thought. So, I mean, yeah,
still a doctor, and I mean, there is a significant amount of skill required in reconnecting nerves to a piece of cyberware. Because your cybernetic arms work exactly as your normal arms did.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, then. So I'll put a call into my what is it? My doctor. And sort of get his opinion on the situation.
Do you have
a cybernetics contact too?
Do you have Sphere's consent in calling your doctor for it? Just wondering.
Yeah. How good's your doctor?
He's really good. Look at my arms. Let me look. I won't mention.
Okay, how much do you
names and
trust? Like any doctor we call needs to come here.
But you honestly think Nico's going to let some random come into the base?
I don't, and that's my point.
Does it mean we can't call a doctor though?
Yeah, we can still get some advice, right?
I mean, do we have any equipment here that can do like a basic medical?
Oh, you don't have any hospital equipment in your base, not yet, anyway.
No,
it might be time to invest.
No, I think.
Sure. Let's add the clinic floor.
I mean, automatically, Grifter would consider that. Well, you know, if your legs are not working, then why would you not get cybernetics? So that would be, I think, where Grifter would be thinking, well, we can get this sorted cybernetics, but regardless of whether Sphere would want such a thing.
Yeah,
it's just that.
That's where you're.
Why wouldn't you do this? You know. So I'm still step out of the room and sort of make the call. You know, just to sound out my guy.
You connect to your mechanic doctor's Grifter. Anything I can get for you? Got some new stuff.
New stuff.
Yeah, there's always new stuff.
Now that I am interested in, but I have a specific reason for calling today.
Okay, hit me.
How are you on cyberware for legs?
I have done a few replacements in my time. Yeah.
Okay. And spinal injuries.
I mean, yeah. Back up. We went from cyberlegs to spinal injuries. I'm gonna guess it's related.
No, not necessarily.
Did you fuck up your spine?
No. My spine is fine. I just got a friend.
So if you had fucked up your spine, I would need to do a partial, do a spinal replacement to match your cyberware to match up the connections.
No. I'm all good. Honestly, I got a friend. Bit of an accident, bit of a situation. I'm just trying to work out where we stand. It's not as easy as to take someone, to a hospital.
I am going to make a few assumptions here, or infer them, and you can tell me if I'm being correct. Your friend has a spinal injury of some kind.
Yes.
And cannot use their legs.
Possibly.
Okay, Grifter, either you start being clear with me or I'm hanging up.
No, there was a big crash. There seems to be a lot of non-movement from the waist down.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, it could be temporary. It could be, if it's a crash, something could be inflamed, and you just need to wait it out. Could take weeks. Who knows? If it's permanent, sure. Anything that the body that's not working in a biological sense, you can chop up and slap some cyberware in it and fix it.
Okay, so what should we be doing in the meantime while we wait out to see if this is, a temporary situation?
Get a wheelchair.
Do you have a wheelchair?
Yeah, for my own use, for my clinic.
Oh, come on.
And they're medical
friends?
grade. They're not meant to be used out and about. Get a proper wheelchair for that. The ones with the slanted wheels for like sports and stuff. Those are really nice. You can go get your shit.
Okay.
Unlike what some might think, Grifter, not all wheelchairs are made the same. I have the crappy ones that I use to put people when they're bleeding a lot.
It's better than nothing.
Just invest in a fucking wheelchair. I've seen what you spend on cyberware. You can afford a wheelchair.
All right. Just thought you could do me a favor. That's all. Right, fine. So
I mean, you can pay, and I can source one for you, but you can just go online and pay and buy something for yourself.
All right. God's sake. So
in the meantime, either that. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to do some basic physical therapy just to keep the legs moving. So just moving so the muscles don't atrophy.
Inflammatory meds or something like that. Do we need to get? There's something.
Pain management is a thing, but whoever your friend is not my patient, so I can't give you a prescription. Not that I can anyway. Don't have a license. But that's not important. And yeah, that's not important. But the only thing I would say is, whatever you do, just make sure your friend does some form of physical therapy. Just put their legs on like a bicycle, and then just pull the chain so the pedals move, just so the legs keep moving and the muscles don't atrophy.
Okay, right. And how long do we give this before we need to look at this further?
I have no idea. I don't. Again, I am not looking at the patient. I am working on a hypothetical model told me by a numbskull with metal hands. With all due respect,
we're going to go down this name calling route again. Jesus
with
Christ!
All due respect,
asking you for
Grifter.
some advice.
With all due respect, Grifter, you're not doing a good job of this. If you want my advice, take some full body photos. Send me every piece of evidence you have, and then I might be able to give you some advice.
Okay, right. So keep an eye out on your comms for photos. They, depending on how this goes afterwards, I don't know whether I'll be able to get any, but let me know what your itinerary is on new cyberware. Interested.
Okay.
I'll call you back.
He hangs up. Hangs up on you, and
so
in another side of the city is a poor dog going, "Oh God."
So Grifter in the kitchen.
Damn these patients who think they know shit.
Yeah. Grifter's an idiot. There's someone else that thinks Grifter's an idiot.
To be fair, doctors are frustrated with like most people because look at us, we're not medical professionals.
He is having a break from just because you saw it on the internet, you're not supposed to self-diagnose, and has gone straight into this is not TV medicine. I can't just tell you the cure over the phone.
So yeah, Grifter after the phone call, standing in the kitchen. I'm assuming on his own for the minute.
Karis is just looking at you very puzzled because you went into a full. He can't hear you, but he saw the body language go from very calmly to argumentative and back to calm again.
I just look square onto Karis, sort of click my fingers this far, and an idea. Go, we need to get a wheelchair.
Fortunately for you, he can read your lips. There he goes. He just grabs a towel and starts looking at wheelchair options.
Meanwhile, in the room, KTP, you will have seen, basically, Sphere has already gone into just like putting together a basic design for a wheelchair. It is now.
This wheelchair has rockets, a mounted sniper rifle.
Oh yeah, it's got like a space in the back for Grifter to stand and have the 50 cal. It's a wheelchair version of the Porcupine.
What I will say straight up is whatever wheelchair you decide on and you build or modify will have a built-in rigger command console.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to say that's the largest reason why Sphere wants to design it themselves, or at least have a hand in the process of it, is to make sure that it's got all the requirements for. Having said so, you have
even though it's not that complicated compared to the other things you've built, you've never built a wheelchair.
Oh God, no. They'll absolutely need help, and they're going to go seek a professional, like someone who has experience, because this is important to get right. And like you said,
you're gonna go to Shadowrun Etsy and get a wheelchair.
Maybe not Etsy. If I wanted a crocheted one, maybe.
It's a gilded wheelchair.
Oh boy. Yeah, with diamond crusted wheels or something. Who knows? No, basically the plan is they want to basically put together a sketch of what they have envisioned, then go to somebody like Needle who may have more knowledge about this and who can recommend them where to go. And then basically use that sketch as a, hey, this is what I want. How do I make it happen? And find someone who can make it happen.
Okay.
And the basic idea is it needs to be a wheelchair that is powered, that has options for, or basically one that isn't limited to purely smooth floors, one that can also take a little bit of an incline, maybe small steps and staircases, and something that can actually carry the command console if necessary. Most times they will want to take a smaller version, like not the full console.
Again, the rear command console is at most briefcase sized. It's not a big thing. It's literally just a console that you carry and do things with. So literally having it something that you can basically almost like keep on the side of the chair or on the back and just sling it forward.
Yeah,
that is at most what you would need.
My idea was to have a screen that can essentially like pop up and then swivel around, then the console is kind of like a tray that can also just pop up and swivel around.
That's essentially what you need.
Yeah. But yeah, basically just figuring out what they want out of it and then going to someone and saying, hey, how do I do this?
You're going to call Needle then?
That's going to come later.
Yep.
First is also, once Grifter and KTP are back in the room, put the tablet down for a moment and just, with a bit of strain, sit up. Just go, hey, so I fucked that one up, didn't I?
You fucked the car up.
But in fairness, that wasn't me.
You were driving it. If the roles had been reversed, you'd be blaming me.
I wouldn't blame you for being tossed.
Mm.
But I am blaming myself for thinking I was clever enough not to get detected.
I was about to say Tau was where we were going. Tau, that guy. Not necessarily. But, we deal.
And I thought, I'll just have a little fly on the wall, take a peek, just have a first look.
Yeah.
I did not think this was going to happen. I'm so sorry about it. I'm sorry I wrecked another car.
We get another car. Don't worry about it.
At least this one didn't have. Well, I was about to say, at least for this one, we didn't have to implode a building. But
We kind of stoved in a building.
yeah, it's. Anyway, look, KTP,
I mean,
Grifter,
when we wreck a
sorry.
car, we wreck a car.
We got style, that's for sure.
Yeah. And look, don't worry
No.
about the car. We can sort that.
And it's
Remind me of something, because I don't remember if we did this last session, but did KTP manage to go through the logs on the drones? Or did we agree that no, because Sphere had changed all the access to the drones?
Sphere's
I think you had,
changed the access codes, but basically, the moment it's asked for, we'll hand them out freely
right.
to
That's
members
what
of the group.
we're agreed on. Thank you.
So you have access to the logs the moment you ask for them, because Sphere is not going to hold back that sort of thing anymore. But yeah, just
But we didn't check them last time.
No, but
Yeah.
but then Sphere wasn't
Yeah, that's true.
compass meant us
Yeah.
at the time to ask for codes, right? So
anyway, I know we said, hey, no more going rogue and everything. I didn't think this was going rogue. I thought this would just be, I sit back in my chair, have a look, leave after a few minutes and go home and have a croissant. So yeah, I don't know. I basically just hope you can not hate me for it.
no, I don't know. It's all good.
KTP's just quiet.
But what I do need to do, I need to take some
Yeah.
photos. It's important. I spoke to someone and they need photos to help you.
Oh,
That's
okay.
cool, right?
Your
And he just
doctor.
starts taking
No,
photos
wait.
randomly.
Before you do that, what did you discuss with this person?
Oh, nothing about you personally, just how we would go about caring and repairing a spinal injury.
Grifter,
Yes.
at what point did you consider checking with me what kind of care and repair I would want?
Well, I got to help you. Can't leave you sitting there on your own.
Yeah,
can I?
no, I appreciate it. It's honorable. But generally, you check with the patient what kind of treatment they want before
Yeah,
you
but I
give it
don't
to
know
them.
what treatment to offer you yet. So
Oh, that's
I was
fair.
getting that information before I came in. Trying to be careful.
Just to be clear, I've got enough cyberware in me. I prefer not to add more to the mix.
Oh,
Like that's not a hard rule. If it needs to happen, then it can happen. But if I can get around with a chair in the future, well, maybe I'll just do that. But I've got shit in my brain and my arms and various other parts of me. Mixing more into that, I think the risk goes up,
I hadn't thought of that as an option.
I will allow anyone except Sphere a logic and give me a quick moment to check something.
Sphere, once again, has no clue what they're talking about.
I will allow anyone a biotech. Logic and
Amazing.
biotech for free if they wish to make
Right.
it.
8.
8. Four.
There is no possible danger in adding more cyberware to the mix. From a scientific point of view, none whatsoever. There is a limit that has been established where if you replace too much of yourself to the point where you are technically more machine than person, it has a psychological effect on you. And magic and other stuff goes kind of wonky on you. But other than risking some form of cyber psychosis with, extensive modifications, aka dropping your essence to like 1, and even then you're still functional, Sphere's statement is flawed, at least from a scientific point of view.
Yeah.
And it won't cause, with what it won't even cause interference with drones, none of that nonsense, no.
I don't think Grifter will have thought that much into it. So,
No.
I mean, it would just be a case of, why would you not want more? I hadn't considered that would be a possibility.
And I think KTP's pissed, so she's not talking. So, like when you're annoyed and you just want the other person, you give them ropes, they can hang themselves just so you can get even more annoyed. So she's doing that at the moment. So she's aware that this is a load of bollocks, but it's just letting Sphere continue.
So for the moment, then, we're not going to consider any more cyberware.
Oh, we can consider it. Just it's not going to be an immediate solution, at least not until I know what kind of damage I'm looking at.
But we don't know that this is a long-term situation because we haven't been to see anyone, right? So this could be, something that can be gotten over. So with that in mind, what I do know is we've got to try and keep your legs moving, because that's what I was told as advice from a doctor, a qualified doctor.
I trust you. That makes sense. And
that ain't gonna happen sitting in that bed.
Well, I'm hardly gonna stand of my own volition.
Well, I see. I've already thought ahead here. Wheelchair. Now I know you're saying you want to make your. Maybe if I could go and get like a wheelchair just for now, we can get you up and about a bit.
I mean, that makes sense.
Right.
I'm not opposed. I mean, my immediate thought had been I can build some sort of device that will automatically keep my legs in motion for a certain period of time every day. But we think in different ways here, I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we get the chair, we get you over to the workshop. Boom.
I mean, I have ideas now. Exoskeleton.
I like that.
We'll see. I'm going to go through the options, but first, I think I need more painkillers because the rest of me is terrible.
Okay, so I got permission then, because obviously I overstepped the line without asking the patient first. I'm okay to get the wheelchair, right?
I already said okay to that. Right. Just make sure it's decent.
Decent?
Well,
it's got wheels.
Not one of the crappy fold-up ones.
Right? Yeah. Not. Come on, yeah. No worries. It's all good. Grifter exits room.
Sphere has an immediate moment of concern.
You've just given Grifter a task.
Yeah, but the simple ones should be okay.
Concern is warranted.
It's fine. So it's just Sphere and KTP in the room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kim, I'm just going to ask you directly, how evident is it that KTP is not in a good mood?
I'd say she's probably more stony faced than you've seen her before.
Is KTP trying to hide what exactly she's feeling? Or trying not to make it apparent?
No, I wouldn't have necessarily said she's trying to hide it, but she's not necessarily one for making a display, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
So I'd say, like, although she's kind of not out and out like seething, you probably know her well enough to know that something's not quite right.
Something's
if you know what I mean.
brewing.
Yeah.
Just okay. You're gonna lean back, like reach for the painkillers, look up and go. All right, out with it.
Okay. So KTV says, like, what the fuck, Sphere? Like, what the actual fuck?
I mean, we said we were gonna do initial surveillance.
Yeah, tailing, like Grifter said. And I know that I don't really have much to say about Grifter's intelligence, but tailing.
Again, this is my tailing. I was sat in a car a quarter kilometer away. A tiny drone the size of a housefly was hovering 50 meters above the target, and somehow the fucker spotted it, traced it, got to my car, and tossed me through a building. I took every precaution I possibly could.
What, and now you want to sit in bed and mope and draw pretty pictures?
No, I want to get out of this, get mobile, and get to where I can do something again.
And get a fucking wheelchair and get on with it.
I've sent Grifter to do it.
You lied.
Look, wait,
All
when?
this crap about cybernetics, screwing, and then KTP goes on into the explanation of what she knows about by stuff.
Like, you watch a Sphere's face goes through confusion, and then you know the look of somebody who has just realized their own ignorance, that moment of, oh shit, and then it goes, it wasn't lying when I didn't know what I was talking about. I want to make that clear. I had no idea.
Right, so I'm going to ask you again then, what the actual fuck?
I was worried about like cross wiring and like, you know, what if one implant fucks up the other? And I was like, what if I can't control my drones properly anymore because I'm busy sending signals to my legs? And I don't know how this shit works.
Look, all we have done since you've got here is bring you into the team and treat you like one of our family. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. You're not going to go through this on your own, but you can be damn well sure we ain't going to let you sit and mope in that bed either. So get up off your fucking ass and be part of that family. And then with that, she gets up and turns around and walks out.
Before you, please don't.
So then, just as she's at the door, she kind of grabs the handle and then turns around and goes, "What?"
I can't get up without your help. I mean, right now I don't think I should be getting out of bed anyway, but if you want me to get up, I'm gonna need help, at least for a while.
So she shouts, "Grifter," like, you know, as in, get over here.
Grifter enters.
She's like, "Give me a hand." So both get Sphere between us, shoulder over, arm over each shoulder. What?
Where are we going?
To the kitchen.
To the kitchen.
To the
right,
kitchen.
okay.
So do that. KTP grabs the tablet that Sphere's been working with as well. So they all go trundling along to the kitchen.
Trundling.
Put Sphere on a chair.
You trundle along.
Yeah. Out of character, I will note this is completely counter to any and all medical advice.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. But
like, if you have someone lying in a hospital bed, they're there for a reason. You should never ever move them until a medical professional has said you can. Just to be clear, but this is
medical
Shadowrun,
professional. The only person in this room now with the most medical knowledge is Grifter.
Don't you
that's the sort of shitty situation we're in, people.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure me, IRL, knows more about medical shit than Grifter does.
So they put
I will tell you
Sphere-
straight up. You're not feeling well. The moment they pick you up, things start to hurt everywhere.
Yeah. But there's the part of Sphere's mind that goes, this is as much a demonstration of intent as anything else.
All right, there is a reason for this.
No, I trust you.
So we put Sphere down on one of the chairs in the kitchen, hand them a tablet, and then KTP disappears again. So what she's doing is going around the base, like collecting sort of pillows and blankets and that kind of thing. Because in her head, if they leave Sphere in their room on their own, there is that danger that they're just going to kind of slip into depression or, kind of get in their head. So she wants Sphere, like, not necessarily up, but in the kitchen, like resting, like that can be Sphere's room for the moment while they're recuperating, because then there's company, there's people around them. So she comes back with arms full of whatever she can find and starts.
You put everything around, if not the kitchen, maybe the common area.
Yeah.
Where you already have something like a couch, might be more suited. As soon as it's done, you see one of the love seats, one of the cushions on the seats on the side gets pushed near the sofa where you're sitting, Sphere, and it's being pushed by the gigantic body of Dr. Watson, who then promptly leaps on it, puts two paws and head just resting near you on the sofa. as your feline nurse.
Sphere will reach out and just give careful head pats.
The purring on this wolf-sized cat sounds like a fucking engine. It is not subtle at all.
Sphere and Watson haven't really had much bonding time, so there's still that sort of...
You've been here long enough that you have been adopted?
Yeah.
And you're the newest sick child, so Dr. Watson is here to keep watch over you.
Oh, I wasn't intending this to kind of be a new bed for one, but it looks like you might have someone joining you.
I mean, you've brought me the world's biggest pillow, so... And it purrs. It purrs like a Land Rover.
Which gives you terrible memories because you were in a Land Rover.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
My choice was deliberate. I don't want to be selfish here, but I don't suppose we could turn this into a bit of a temporary workstation as well. Basics. Give me something to tinker with. We'll see.
Katie
We'll see about
looks at Grifter, gauging the reaction. Because if this is a workshop, you're the one who's going to be saying it out.
Yeah, I don't mind. But I mean, once we get the temporary wheelchair, we can move you around. It's not like you're going to be stuck here, is it?
That's true. Although I've never used a wheelchair, so...
On that note, Karis comes with a tablet and a bunch of options for wheelchairs.
Honey?
Oh, you're in on this too.
He signs, Grifter said something about wheelchair.
Sphere will sign back. It's a good idea.
The option, the thing is, Karis actually did the full rabbit hole search and found actual good wheelchairs.
Yeah.
They're kind of costly, but...
It's a very important expense.
Yes.
But yeah, that's honestly, that's Sphere for the moment is really just gonna start looking into these options, and then eventually.
Basically, you're going for something lightweight and durable.
Mm,
And I mean durable in the sense of normal person durable, not reinforced for Shadowrunner durable. That's something different.
that might
You're
be
looking at the
something down
range of
line.
like you're looking at something around 1,500 to 2,000 new yen.
Okay, Sphere can cover that.
And you can get it. You can get it in a couple of days. Just need to give an address where it's going to be delivered to, aka a bogus place that is not your home base.
Mm.
Yeah, a PO box.
It's like pretty much.
Or you could let Griff go out and steal one.
No.
I mean, it'll be probably the same spec, just covered in blood.
Think of it as red racing stripes. No, but what Sphere is going to do is put in that call to like having once having selected a model is going to put in that call to Needle to the back alley doctor, who's slightly less back alley these days, I imagine.
He has moved out from the alley, and now it's just shitty street doctor.
It's an upgrade.
It's still a rough part of town, but not hiding in the alley anymore.
Yeah, but they're going to put in a call with location scrambled just for the sake of care.
As soon as you pick up, the first thing is you hear an unearthly scream, just in agony, and then Neil going, "Oh, shut up, you big baby!" I told you I can't put you to sleep. I need you to be feeling things when I plug in your new fucking arm. And then the screen just shuts out. It says, hello. Sphere, hi. How can I help you?
Here in your charming bedside manner.
You know, when someone comes to tell us, I'm a Marine, I can handle pain, don't believe them.
I never would. But also, you could at least tell them to put ice on it.
Well, his former arm is I have it on ice.
No, the loopholes.
Well, thinking of what to do with it, probably sell it to some place where they need a transplant, or I know some people who find that kind of thing a delicacy, and let's just leave it there.
No explanation needed. If I know of anyone who needs an arm, I'll let you know.
I got a hand for them.
Hey. Dr. Humor, I've missed you.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has.
I have a problem.
Okay.
2 problems.
Uh-huh.
They're my legs.
Right. What did you do to fuck up yourself this time? I'm assuming you fucked up your legs and not I want to replace my legs.
Well, I might have to replace them. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
That's a conversation down the line, but for now it's just
Okay. Give me the details.
The short version is this. I was in a car. Someone way stronger than they ever should be decided to throw me like a discus.
That was you in the car that I saw on the news that flew into the building? Down in,
Shit,
central London?
Wait, you made the news? Oh, fuck.
No one, trust me, you didn't get pinged in any way. Your car just, there's a spectacular view of your car flying.
Yeah, I was in that.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to make some assumptions here.
Oh, God.
You woke up and you can't feel your legs, right?
Yeah, I can't tell if it's just really numb or if they're completely gone.
If they feel extremely numb, you may be temporary. It may be an inflammation, something from the impact.
Yeah.
If it turns out to not be temporary, then that's another thing entirely.
Exactly. So hold off on the
Okay.
replacements.
In the meantime, what I can suggest, if you want, mobility,
Now that's what I called you about.
I mean, of course, there's the usual, let's call it analog option, which is a wheelchair.
I want one.
Sure. Just go online. You can find any number.
I was hoping you might have a discount.
I don't do wheelchairs. I do cyber arms and general care. The only wheelchairs I have are the shitty hospital ones that I stole from the hospital I worked in.
Wait, sorry.
That's not important. That's not here nor there. You can get good ones online. There's, hefty, but you can get them used or on the cheap. I mean, most places you can get things on used or on the cheap. Alternatively, if you're willing to splurge, and this is a and thing. You could always give an exoskeleton a try. And, it'll allow you to move with the pure power of hydraulics.
Oh.
It's just slow and not as responsive or nice as cyber limbs.
Oh.
The way I would do it, and this is just me, is do a bit of both worlds. Get a chair and put in some extra bulk on it to kind of halfway give you at least the lower part of an exoskeleton in case you need to be on your feet for any reason. Just something to hold you in place, kind of. You need to get the thing on the high shelf.
Yeah. So my thinking was I was going to get a chair because I want one. And then I was going to actually build myself in a very basic exoskeleton just to keep motion going, just something that'll automatically do repetitive motions.
Wouldn't recommend doing that just now.
No?
Because if you have an actual inflammation, any form of activity could exacerbate. I would wait until you know if you have sensation or not. And if you start feeling, then start kicking.
That is excellent advice. I'll take it. The other thing is, I know you said you don't do wheelchairs. Do you know anyone who does?
I know a few people. It depends on what you need. If you need something, out of the box, out of the store, just go online. If you are,
no, I need a custom job.
You need a custom job. Okay. I can put you in touch. It's not going to be cheap.
Will it be cheaper if it's a modification to an existing one?
No. This needs to be done from the ground up. Especially if you want to add, an exoskeleton to it.
No, I'm just thinking of additional parts for the chair.
You need this build because I'm not one to assume things about people, but I'm gonna be straight with you. I know that your line of work is not exactly legal in most places, and the kind of work you do, especially since I implanted I put that implant in your brain that allows you to control vehicles. I know that the kind of business you do is, very, very illegal. I'm going to assume you need something sturdy and that can take a bullet.
Well, the plan is for me to take the bullets, but
but you don't want something that an explosion makes all the parts on it rattle and come unscrewed.
Yeah, no, it needs to be stable. But I don't have that much cash on me these days. I'm not as liquid as I used to be.
And I would suggest go for something out of the store for now. and then get the custom job when you have the cash.
Okay.
I can shop around some of my contacts and see who can give you the best possible deal.
See what you can do, because I need it. I need it soon. And also, if you've got any... Nah, never mind. You're not a car salesman.
No, not yet.
Anyway, I should let you get back to befriending your patient.
Yeah. Oh, he's... Give a second. Yeah, sorry, I need to go. He's bleeding out. See you later. Hangs up.
Sphere makes a mental note to possibly look for a different doctor. This is...
You're the ones going to these cheap-ass doctors. They are qualified. They're just not licensed.
Yeah, well...
There's no ruling body for them.
Listen, but yeah, once the call is done, it's just gonna catch up KTP and Grifter on the plan of get a basic wheelchair now.
Based on the chat, what chat is saying, any wheelchair salesman you find will have a a plaid jacket where it moves.
Oh boy.
And you can go and find the wheelchair over there.
Oh god.
Very good.
That's gonna be terrible. But yeah, just brief update on the plan. And then also offhandedly wondering whether or not we actually had insurance on the car.
I'm
No.
assuming
No
not.
chance.
You're a
No.
sin. For the most part, you're all sinless runners.
Yeah, yeah.
Insurance does not exist in your world. There's only one person, as far as I know, in your group that could get a legitimate piece of insurance, and that's KTP.
And she's not.
And she's not. Because that would mean attaching her ID to a car.
But you two are invariably going to blow up at some
Why?
point. So no.
I haven't blown up any cars.
Actually, that
You have
reminds
the
me.
chance,
That
would you?
reminds me. There is still technically one car in your possession. That is KTP's legal car. That is still in KTP's legal apartment.
That's a bike.
Oh, that's a bike then. Nope.
Yeah, how would we go about getting another vehicle then?
I mean, technically, I'm gonna say it. Sphere, you technically already have a wheelchair. It's one of your go-kart drones.
Yeah.
It might not be the most comfortable,
Mm.
but it is lethal in all the ways.
So this is... I like that you brought this up because I hate that I was thinking it, but I was actually considering whether or not that could be modified.
It can be. You would just not use it as a drone anymore, and it would be a vehicle for you to move around.
I would have to drastically tone down the engine.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to.
I don't want to go from the
Just add
kitchen
just
to
add
Sphere's
wings to it.
workshop through
That'll be
the
it.
wall.
I'm just gonna say that handling is gonna be a bitch.
Yeah, no. No, this is one of those things where, all jokes aside, out of character jokes aside, in character, Sphere is absolutely aware that this is going to require very deliberate care, very specific care, and very, very careful detail to attention.
Yes, it will. Yes, what you're put on this thing, depending on what you put on it, you're literally gambling with your life.
Mm-hmm. hence starting off with a wheelchair made by people who know what they're on about.
Is that the plan then? Acquire a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
specifically send Grifter to acquire a specific wheelchair.
Yeah, you can send him to collect at a store and come back.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask, how does Grifter go there? Cab?
I guess a cab, yeah. I can't see me walking very
Yeah,
far.
you go on Shadow Uber and drive there and back, and we'll say that's a good place to take a 10-minute break. And we're back in 10 minutes. By the way, I love this name, Schnocker Sozzled. Thank you for following. I love that name.
That's an excellent name.
Yeah. We'll see you all in about 10 minutes when we come back. And we're back. We're just missing a sphere for the moment.
They've gone to get their wheelchair.
Yeah, and water. That too. But yes, the acquisition of the wheelchair goes off without an issue. And by the next day, Sphere will have a functioning wheelchair to move around the base with.
Cool.
In the meantime, anything that anyone wants to be doing?
Okay then.
You go first.
Yeah. So KTP is going to go to her room and play back the recording that she got of Lawrence while he was asleep, which sounds way more creepier than it actually is.
As I mentioned last time, there's a bit of mumble talking in his sleep, and the fragments that are intelligible, the parts that are actual words, are in French. Putting it through a translator doesn't even need a roll. So you immediately get a translation for it. And firstly, from the tone of his voice, he sounds scared. And the words are constantly they're either a combination of "please stop" and "I'm sorry."
Well, Lawrence is hiding something then.
Just as you think.
Hmm.
In the as I said, so he's in the tone. He sounds scared, but more. Actually, make an intuition and perception roll to see how well you can get this.
5, 10.
Three.
With 3, I'll tell you that he does. It's not so much he sounds scared; he sounds terrified, and you're guessing that he is in the dream, likely reliving some past trauma.
Right.
So it is. He may be hiding something, but likely it's a painful something. Catch you up, Sphere. KTP has gone and very creepily listened to the very creepy recording she took of Lawrence sleeping last time to see what he would mumble out. I mentioned he mumbled certain things in French. She's put it through a translator, and the words are "I'm sorry" and "please stop." And the voice in those sections sound as if he's terrified.
Okay. KTP does have a history of doing somewhat creepy things.
Gets us out of jams though.
Doesn't make it less creepy.
Okay, so
I will tell you one thing. Actually, I forgot one of the phrases. Sorry, I had in my notes. There is one last phrase in French that happens only. He says only once. The others kind of repeat over the course of the dream. You're guessing. The last one is almost a whisper and has very little like emotional inflection in it. And it's "Don't make me do this."
now who's the creepy one? All right.
You don't want the answer.
Okay. So I am going to use whatever software I can to enhance Lawrence's voice to make it clearer. Not necessarily figure out the words, but just get the sound of his voice. And then run a matrix check to see if sort of any hits, like if there's anything that comes back off of it.
Now let's make this a logics and electronics roll for getting that crisp audio sample.
11.
I'm going to put the difficulty of this at 3. 3 gives you a decent enough
Should we
voice
throw it
track.
here?
It might be
Cat in the dice tray.
cat in the dice tray. Sorry.
All hail the cat. The cat blesses the rolls.
Yeah, 3.
Exactly. You get a workable, like a good audio track out of it. Now, but basically, this won't give you any extra dice for your next roll. If you had rolled higher on this one, it would have given you a bonus on the matrix perception check. Now, here, I'm going to ask you, are you doing a matrix perception check, a simple check, or a hash check, which is, the highly illegal one?
Just a basic one.
Okay.
Right now.
That is going to be an intuition and electronics check.
Okay.
What do you need?
10. Only 1 at a time. Yeah, I'm good.
You look over on the matrix, and you only find a video on not YouTube from about 10 years ago, and it shows essentially something of a business meeting. It's a public event. It is the inauguration of a building by a small time firm in London that you look the records, no longer exists. It went bankrupt about 5-7 years ago. And among the people in the crowd, you see someone sitting there. It's a very, very heavily built black man, bald with sunglasses. Beside him, very scrawny looking. It takes you a moment to recognize him because of how different he looks. But it's a much younger Lawrence, and you can the microphones in the area barely pick up him going, we have an appointment, we have that other appointment in half an hour.
Okay.
But you have that footage, and it is Lawrence, very young, and Lawrence since you've known he's a very athletically built person. He's very active. He can handle himself in, your type of situations. This version of Lawrence is a scrawny kid.
Okay.
That's as far as you get with one hit.
All right. So next, then, I will try and grab a still of Lawrence and this other guy. And again, software, trying to enhance it as much as possible.
Yep. Make another electronics and logic roll.
Okay.
10 again, yeah.
11.
Are you focusing on one of them in particular?
7.
Yeah, I think first I'll go for the guy to try and figure out who it is.
Okay. If you can get a good render of it.
Oh, I got 5 out of that one.
You do the TV CSI enhance and get the crisp, perfect detail.
Do I get the music as well?
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. All right.
There's a montage here where the screen zooms and clears out
Perfect.
perfectly. No
Nice.
pixel errors, even everything just as it was a perfect photo. You managed to somehow do it. You have a perfect image that you can use for your next major perception, and it will give you an extra 2 dice.
Okay. So yeah, let's do that then. I'll do the basic check again. So I need. Thank you. Right. And that time is 4.
4. You find one like a professional profile. His name is Thierry, so like Terry in French. Thierry Landau, like land AU afterwards.
Yeah.
Thierry Landau, entrepreneur, businessman, the whole Elon Musk kind of shebang. But because you had 4 hits, you also find some articles, newspapers, particularly in France, that suggest that Mr. Landau has some rather seedy or shady businesses. Which I would tell you, if you would find specifics on that, you would likely need a hash check to, check the dark corners of the matrix.
Okay, so the companies that he has, are they still running? Or
His name is tied to about 24 different companies, either as part of a board of directors or as something of an angel investor. Most of the business that he invested in creating have all closed by now.
Okay.
Which in the article that you find, someone posits that they are shell companies.
They're what? Sorry.
In the article that you found,
Mm-hmm.
the writer suggests or posits that those companies that he shows up and invested in were all shell companies. And to hide some other activity.
But on the surface, they were legit.
On the surface, perfectly legit. And he is on the board of directors of a bunch of other companies. Minor to some, nothing in the AAA category, nothing in the even remotely close to what will be mega corporation.
Mm-hmm.
At most, there is a AA company, which is in, as you might not, you won't be surprised, import-export.
Okay. So I'm just making some notes. Right. So, can I do another matrix check to see, kind of, I'm assuming that in 2081 we have something like Internet Archive, like going back to see if there are websites for these companies, and if so, to get like like the page that shows the employees of the companies.
Yeah.
Do you need another role for that?
No. You find many of the websites, even by old standards, they are still fairly decently built. You find a list of employees. They always show for the companies where he invested in, he is shown as a he doesn't appear on the list of employees because he's an investor.
Yeah.
But you do find that a lot of them, over the course of the years, the CEOs are the same people, like 3 or 4 people, kind of rotating.
Are they anyone that we recognize that are these new names?
No, there are no names that you have come across in the past.
Okay, so the YouTube video that we got, there's obviously going to be a date on it.
Yes, it's again from about 10 years ago ish.
So I will take that date and then get a list of the companies that were in business at the time, like the ones that he had invested in or was on the board of.
With that, I'll tell you, crack basically a pattern. At any given time, there were always 3 active.
Right. Okay.
1 for each of these CEOs. And then they start to, after a few years, they start to drop off and a new one appears.
There's 3 companies. And for the 3 that were active at the point of the date of the video, is Lawrence listed on the company page?
He doesn't appear as an employee in any of them.
Okay. Right. Wondering what my next move should be.
We're looking to Thierry Landau.
Before we go there, can I do a matrix check on Lawrence as this younger Lawrence?
Sure. I will have to ask you for another role to, get his perfectly crisp image.
Yeah. So, what was that one?
That'll be logic and electronics.
Okay. Second.
I'll give you an extra die and 1 edge because you've already kind of done the pre-work on this one. So it's just part of applying some of the same algorithms.
Okay. So that would be, hang on, just count my dice.
Because of your logic, you have 2 edge then to use on this roll.
Right, sorry, how many extras is it? 1?
An extra die, yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 edge, which you use to, give a +1 to a roll. I'll mention you also have a +3 on a roll available for me.
Yeah.
We do still have that.
Sorry, what was that, die?
No, just confirming that we do still have the +3.
Yeah, dice boost from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I'm just considering something. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to add some extra edge to the edge. And let's pull off a special effect on the searches for Lawrence.
Sorry, what did you say?
So the 2 extra edge, I'm going to add some more edge to that to
Oh,
bump
you
it
want
up
a
to
special
5.
effect? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's hope this goes well.
I'm just gonna say, are you doing this on the roll to get the image, or do you prefer to
Oh.
wait this on the roll to search?
Yeah, no. Wait on for the search for that one. So I won't use that now. I'll use that later. So I'm
Okay.
just going to use the 1 extra dice.
Okay.
All right. Four.
Or you get a perfectly good image that will give you just 1 extra die on the next roll.
Okay.
So the next roll, again, I'm just gonna give you a free edge, and you have an extra die. Sadly, this is an intuition roll, so you don't get your free edge from logic.
And
So for the special effect, you'll need, I think, 4 more edge.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Cool. Only 3.
3. Okay. Okay. The first thing you find is multiple instances of Lawrence appearing on security. You see it in some of the similar articles that follow TRE. You see Lawrence with him on a lot of footage of special events, also like security footage from airports and such, and so. For your special effect, I'm going to give you a result that I would have given you with a much higher or much more thorough. I'll say you managed to snag a piece of dark web information, some of the stuff that you would get from a hash check. You managed to get it through your normal matrix perception. And it shows, it is a darkly lit video, no audio. And it shows 3 people. You can't see their faces, kind of barely lit, but you can see the camera is like on facing their backs. So they're on their knees, hands tied behind their backs with blindfolds. And they're shaking, and from the way they're emoting, they seem to be struggling to get out. A door opens and Lawrence stumbles in. And he's looking at the door wide-eyed, looks at them and looks back. And you can, even though it's old, but you can see it's very detailed. You can see the absolute terror and horror in Lauren's eyes. And something of a conversation happens. And in the end, Lawrence just goes still for a moment and then just nods several times, like very afraid, and then moves behind the 3 people and one by one shoots them in the back of the head.
Well, okay.
And the last thing you see is him going back to the door, nodding a few times, and the door closes, and you see him just standing in the light in the camera, just with a gun in his hands, dead look on his face.
Right.
Well, that's not the last thing. The last thing you see before the feed cuts out, is the image of him going like this, looking at the door again, and then doing this. And that's where the feed ends.
Right, okay. So I'll download a copy of that, please. And then
You wanted to look into Lawrence?
Yeah, well, we got it. Where are the others right now?
Wherever they might be. Sphere, you will have a brand new wheelchair.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming you are zipping and zooming around the base. Just getting used to the movement and just getting around, powered by your own hands.
Zipping and zooming at, I would say, a snail's pace, because the motion of actually propelling themselves forward is, for someone who's in pain everywhere else, yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is the next day, so roll me body again to see how much you heal overnight.
Just one.
Heal one more, feeling a bit better. Not so many aches and pains, though. Some of the bigger edges are coming off now.
Yeah, it's doing better. It's one of those, now that they're awake again, there are things to do, and that's helping to distract. But certainly the first point is getting used to a different kind of mobility.
You do I will tell you, the movement around in this wheelchair is informing your design.
Mm-hmm.
And you already know that some of the designs your early design won't work. There are things in terms of bulk and weight distribution that being sat on this thing tells you were way off.
Mm. It's that sort of theory meet reality.
No plan survives contact with the enemy.
Exactly. In this case, no cool idea survives the limitations of what you can actually do. Okay, so goodbye to the rocket powered.
It still can be, it just needs refining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, that's mostly what Sphere is doing, is just getting used to it and taking continuous notes on, okay, this works, this doesn't, this could be done, this can't, just figuring out sort of.
So we're going to assume that Sphere is likely more in the common open areas of the base, moving around.
Okay.
Yeah, just as wide and open a space as possible to make sure that they don't accidentally slam into a wall or something.
Unfortunately, the common area of your base is fairly large. It used to be a train station.
Mm.
Where's Grifter right now?
Where's Grifter?
You know what? I think Grifter's gone out.
Oh, God.
Where has Grifter gone?
Well, this is totally low key, right?
Uh-huh.
He's going to hang around outside the building that we infiltrated the other day as cleaners, and hopefully to catch a glimpse of what was the name? Miranda. Was it Miranda?
Miranda.
Yeah, to catch a glimpse of Miranda. So I'm not like tailing or any. I'm just.
Okay, that's good.
I'm gonna have you make a intuition and perception check.
Oh, they're never good.
Also, I'm gonna have you make an agility and stealth roll, or a charisma and con, whichever you prefer.
So what are we doing first? Intuition and perception?
Yeah, intuition and
Do you want me to
perception.
do it
Yeah,
here?
do them first. Yeah, so that's 7.
So you got 1.
I got 1. Well done, honey.
Sorry.
1.
1.
And then the other one was going to be charisma and con, or agility and stealth.
Let's go agility and stealth.
6.
Can we do a little bit better than 1?
I'll try.
There is no try. There is only do or do not.
Better than 1. It's 2.
Two.
Okay. You catch a glimpse of Miranda coming in and out. She comes in fairly early, around 6:30 in the morning, not 7:30 in the morning, like fairly early compared to other employees who usually come in around the 8:30 mark. Curiously, she arrives around the same time as the other members of Sphere's former group arrive. So Pincer and the other two arrive around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And she leaves a bit later than most, around 6 p.m. Everyone else, including Pincer and the others, leave around 5.
Okay, and when she leaves, is she sort of on foot, or is she
She comes into the building on foot and leaves on foot. Since you mentioned you wouldn't be tailing her, you don't have the information on how she gets there in another way, because you just see her arriving down the block where she's coming.
Yeah.
You don't have the visibility, because I'm guessing you're looking from a few blocks away down the door, and likely not in the path of any major transportation.
Okay.
So not in I'm guessing you're not, in the path of someone walking down from a tube station or a bus stop or something, more out the way so you can watch and not, be detected. So you don't see where she might be, getting into another form of transport. You just see that she comes in walking and leaves walking.
Okay. So that obviously, because I've kept so far away, I'm assuming I've lost in the crowds, whatever. I've now lost sight of. I don't know where she went from there.
Unless, I'm going to ask you, when she leaves, are you gonna be tailing her?
Yeah, but I'm staying well, but I'm not.
Okay.
So if there's a risk I'm going to lose her, I know that.
Then we're going to use your stealth roll as the measure of how well you tail. And I'm going to roll her perception. I'm going to take 2 dice away from her roll.
Mm-hmm.
And not allow her any edge. Because she would be normally walking, and it's more on if she picks you up by any chance, turning a corner or something. And I will tell you straight up, with a roll of 2, you're not exactly master assassin.
No, I realise that.
You're going to use the edge.
I don't get another roll. Is it?
Oh, yeah, you don't.
I've got 2.
With the penalty it gave her and everything, you rolled 2 hits. She rolled 1.
All right, that's okay. So we haven't screwed it. Right, that's okay.
She does not detect you. You see that she walks about a block away, where there is a car park, and gets in a car and leaves.
Okay, so as that car sort of pulls away and leaves, am I in a position to maybe jot down the license number?
Let's have you make a just intuition and I forgot the name of the attribute.
Perception?
No, intuition, and it's one of the attributes. Character sheet. Reaction.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, reaction and perception. Let's do reaction and perception.
I'm just going to throw it out there.
9.
Hold on.
I think I get something for my eyes, don't I?
Yeah, just the vision magnification.
The vision.
I'll give you an edge.
Yeah. So I'll use that edge as a re-roll.
Okay, so 9 and a...
9 and a re-roll.
No, it's 8.
Oh, yeah, 8 and a re-roll.
Great. You snag a pic immediately off the license plate.
And that would include like the make and model and all that sort of stuff, general information.
You have a picture of the car. So
yeah.
From there, it's kind of thing where if you have someone that can do things in the Matrix, they can usually.
Yeah. Okay, so at that point, obviously, I'm going no further than that, so I'm going to head back to base, maybe pick up some grapes for.
I want to have a conversation with Sphere while Grift is not around.
Okay, so I'm not there
Grifter
yet.
is not in the
Exactly.
base. That's the first thing you notice, KTP. Grifter is
Excellent.
out.
Good. Sorry, so one of the questions I should have asked previously while doing all the searches was whether Tia is still alive.
Yes.
I just write it down.
Or at least you don't find any notice of his death. And yes, there are some news that are more current.
Okay. So KTB will leave her room and go and find Sphere. And then obviously check that Grift is not around. So she approaches Sphere, who's whizzing around at a snail's pace, and just goes, "Can we have a chat?"
Sailing around.
Fiddling about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. What do you need?
Information.
All right.
Now,
I don't know how I can help, but I can try.
look, I know I'm always the one giving everyone a hard time about not being open, not being honest. And trust me, I will tell you once I've figured this out. Just help me. Like, just give me some information. Let me mull this over and let me just think on it, and then I will talk to everyone.
All right.
And I know this is going to be a question that you might not like thinking about, but trust me, it's important.
Yeah.
How would I tell if someone was a clone or a drone? Is there a way that I could tell?
Let's see. A drone, I'm not sure. Outside of knocking someone out and properly examining them, what you could do is, well, I mean, I guess you could do the same sort of frequency detection you would do for regular drones, check if there's a back and forth signal originating from them. But even then, you never know if maybe that's just a personal comm. You'd have to check for a very specific signal. So it's kind of an involved process. It can be done, but you have to know what you're looking for before you go looking for it. You can't just do a broad spectrum analysis and hope you get the right ping, you know?
But you can do that, right?
If you tell me what to look for, I can look for it. I mean, I know what signals I use for my drones. I can adapt that as a reverse engineered search. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a bit of your skills as well, because there's a bit of matrix stuff going on there that you're better with. But by our powers combined,
We can take over the world.
I was thinking more like we can solve this problem.
Okay,
But I like where your head's at.
I guess we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, we'll go with that later.
Fear, let's make it a logic and engineering roll.
Okay. It's a lot of dice.
Oh, more than 3 hits, just for novelty, really.
Do I count the one that rolled into the drawer?
Sure.
Okay, because then it's 5.
Yay.
All you said is correct. Also, you would also know, based on how drones and signals work, is drones, you can control your drones and give them simple tasks, like simple repetitive tasks, without needing to be very involved. But for complex operations, you need to jump in or be involved. If you were to deploy like a signal jammer, it could literally stop. If someone is a drone, it would likely stop them in their tracks or make them suddenly stop what they were doing. Unless it's something, again, simple and repetitive. But they wouldn't be able to take further action.
Yeah, right.
That assumes that there is... The thing is, in terms of drone people, while you know what Flashfire used to do, you don't know the particulars of the technology. You don't know how much of the person left is still there to carry out tasks.
Yeah. And that's really the problem, isn't it?
Because you know that, for example, for Bright Moon was a different case where what he had was simply almost like a control color. Just something meant to make him behave in a certain way and prevent him from, the other sides of his personality to influence it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, for example, you jammed Bright Moon's signal, you don't know if it would have any effect.
Yeah, depends on whether that is actually being remote controlled.
You would need to. I think what you know these factual points about drones and their signals, but you also know enough to know that you don't know enough of this particular application of technology, which by all standards goes against any form, the Geneva, this goes against the Geneva Conventions immediately.
This would go counter to
this
everything and anything.
Yes, this is a level of turning someone into a drone is monstrous. There's no other way of looking at it. It's the product of a sick mind.
Yeah. Now, as far as your other question goes, so drones, let me just be clear. I don't think that's what we're dealing with.
You don't know what we're dealing with. I haven't told you.
I assume you meant my former teammates.
No.
Shit. All right. Well, fair enough. But to be clear, if a person were a drone, I can put something together to help figure this out. We can do that. But I don't think it's very likely we'll encounter that again because, well, let's face it, the chances of finding two people in a short span who are that level of awful, I mean, I hope our luck isn't that bad,
But what about if they're a clone?
That's easier. My knowledge is rudimentary here, but with a clone, you can look for genetic markers. Specifically, there's genetic degradation involved. Every time you clone something, there is a degradation of the genome. That's actually something you can look for. I don't know the specifics of how to do that. You'll have to find someone with a bit more bio knowledge, but that's actually much easier to detect.
Which is exactly what you did last time.
Exactly. Plus, that's like a standard trope of sci-fi, so I'm just running with it. And if I'm wrong,
I approve of you running with it. I ran with it last session.
Yeah, that's where I'm pulling from. Anyway, but yeah, I mean that's kind of it. Like, if you want to find clones, actually pretty easy. If you want to find drones, God, I hope you don't find drones.
Oh, I'm kind of hoping we don't find either of them. But look at all the other shit we've gotten ourselves into.
Yeah, we really don't want that.
Let me think on this for a while, and I'll come back to you. But just do me a favor.
Yeah.
Don't breathe a word of this to Nico. Not yet.
Can I ask what this is about? I'm making that promise to you right away. That's fine. That's not a problem. I just curious if I can know.
KTP looks Sphere in the eye, like just to kind of get the measure of them. Let's see how serious Sphere's being. And then she sort of reaches into her pocket, grabs her comms, and pulls up the YouTube video and shows Sphere.
You showing the YouTube video or the grainy?
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, the grainy video. Sorry.
As I described, you see a video. There's no date on it, but from the look, from the Lawrence you see on the video, it's fairly old. He looks very young, very lanky, very grin, very much afraid, and also execution style shooting 3 people.
So either Lawrence didn't go through with it, or we were dealing with something a whole lot worse. I just want to
You do see that final shot of Lawrence looking at the gun and then aiming at himself, but you don't see what happens next.
Oh, that's... Just offhandedly, how do we end up in this shit?
Seems to follow us, right?
Oh, we also don't do a very good job of avoiding it.
And now you see why I'm worried, and I'm asking all these questions about drones and clones.
All right. That actually helps narrow down the possibilities of searching for a drone. I might be able to do that without your help. Thanks for sharing that.
Again, just don't tell Nico. She will be told.
Shit, I'm just busy trying to design a rocket-powered wheelchair over here. I actually have given up on that. It's probably going to be more realistic.
I'm sorry to kind of add to your troubles right now.
That's all right. The more you give me to do, the more I have to think about. That isn't pain.
Then we got something to do, because call me suspicious, but either Lawrence didn't go through with it and really cares for Malcolm, or there's something shady going on and Malcolm could be in more trouble than we thought.
Or it's both.
It could very well be.
I mean, something shady is absolutely going on.
Will you help me find out what it is?
I will absolutely help you find out what it is. I'll keep it quiet. You know, if I start talking about really off-the-wall sounding wheelchair ideas, then maybe we can use that as a quick...
Ooh, secret codes. I like it.
Yeah, like if I start talking about designs and you think, wait, that's stupid, it's most likely that's a code. Not guaranteed, most likely.
I think as this conversation comes to a close, that is a great place to leave tonight's session. For next time, when perhaps the final form of Sphere's wheelchair will start to take actual form. And who knows, maybe KTP will finally go through immersion.
Yeah, maybe.
But you have to come back next Thursday and, well, not next Thursday, Thursday. Sorry, next Thursday we are not going to be playing. It's going to be 2 weeks from now. You have to join us then to see what happens, what goes on, and how the rest of the group will react to these revelations, if and when they find out. It's not like Nico is very good at detecting when people are lying to her.
No.
Nico will be told just in the right way at the right time, because this is going to screw her up.
As I said before, thank you for the new follow. For those of you watching, if you would consider it, I would hope you maybe consider at some point maybe dropping a subscription here and there. It really helps us out, and it'll give you more points for giving people, helpful ways to avoid gloom and doom.
I mean, we got lucky on today's dice rolls, though.
I mean, you didn't really do that much in this one.
No, but
Nothing life or death at the very least.
I mean, usually at least half of them we have issues with, but today
Very good. No horrible glitches.
Before we go,
we're saving them for next time.
Before we go, actually, let's have one last body roll for Sphere for healing up towards the next day.
All right. Nope, nothing.
And all that strenuous zooming and zipping didn't help.
No, it wouldn't.
And with that, that's the end of our session then. Before we go, we're going around the room and everyone can tell you who they are, who they were playing, and where you can find them in the dark corners of the internet. So, Diane.
Oh, I am Dan. I am Balrog1911 everywhere on the net, which is 2 places, on Twitch and Twitter. I mean, what else do I need? I stream on my own channel. I will be streaming Brinkwood again this Sunday at 8 p.m. European time, 2 p.m. Eastern time if you're in the US. 2 weeks ago, so last session ended in fire.
And we're shenanigans.
Kevin is grinning because Kevin was part of that and the inciting reason why an entire prison complex burnt down. But if you're going to send a message to the vampire ruling class, that might be one way to do it. Oh, yes. So Brinkwood this Sunday is going to be as wild as it always is, which is, we're only 2 sessions in and each session has been fucking ridiculous. I love it, and I'm looking forward to more. And then I'm trying to go back to my schedule of on Wednesdays actually playing games. I have no idea what I'll be playing. I might actually continue my no shield Dark Souls run, so that'll be fun. But yeah, other than that, that's basically it for me. I don't have too much going on right now because work kind of consumed my life for the past few months, and now I'm currently on a bit of a staycation.
Well, the other two.
I'm Pete, and you won't find me anywhere on the internet because I am a enigma. There we go.
And you played
Grifter,
who
is awesome and didn't make any bad decisions whatsoever in this game.
Keeps succeeding despite himself.
And I'm Kim. I play KTP, who's the Technomancer, and feeling like she and Sphere are going to go down the rabbit hole now. Not quite sure where this is going to lead.
Co-conspirators now.
What was that, sorry?
Co-conspirators now.
Yeah. Nico's going to be pissed.
Oh, yeah.
If nothing else, you can always use Sphere as a shield at the moment.
Where can people find you?
Not anywhere really at the moment.
No.
Because I'm stuck in spreadsheets and project work. But soon.
Business as usual then.
Pretty much.
On my end, though, I do have something to announce, and it's that, and for all more news and everything, make sure to either follow me on Twitter at The Lawful Geek or at Lawful Good Media. On the 3rd of June, in 2 weeks, we have our premiere of the revamp, restart, reskin, rehash. Season 3 of our Peanuts we're returning. Brand new cast, brand new demigods, and a whole host of new worlds to explore. For those who don't know, our Peanuts is our live play game where every arc goes into a different world, and every world has a different RP system. So we'll likely be switching games at some point, and then likely coming back to our hub world, which is Scion 2nd Edition. So all our characters are demigods. And in the near future, there's another game we're also returning, Kind and Country, or Vampire the Masquerade live play game, is also returning very, very soon. Date still uncertain, but it'll be in the coming weeks. And that's going to be it from us. Thank you all for watching. We hope you had a good time, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Get well soon, Cat.
Yes. Cat, get well soon.